This time last year we had a real issue with our garages. They were leaking. The reason they were leaking was because they were single skinned buildings and the water was coming right through the weatherboard into the inside of the garage. There's nothing that we could do to stop this from happening. It seemed to be that the longer the panels, the more worse affected it was, and they would draw moisture in through where the framing was. There's loads of different issues that we addressed, and we thought that we could solve the problem by things like resealing the joints, adding in guttering, repainting them, these sorts of things. Nothing worked. So we ended up having to go back out to these garages for our customers, quite rightly so obviously, because we like to look after our customers, and reclad the whole building. So it already obviously has its wall. What we were doing was put a secondary wall on top of that and creating a cavity, and that stopped the outside wall water ingress getting through to the inside of the actual garage. After a lot of expense of doing all of that, we decided that we needed to change the specification. It was happening sort of every 1 in 30 garages were having this issue. So enough was enough. We just had to think of a solution, come up with it, cost it, and get it out there. The cost implication was the biggest fear, because obviously that was a thing that might have been could put customers off potentially. It's just accepting that it was going to cost a lot more. So now what our structure is for the garage is what we're standing in right now. Now you'll need to keep up because it's a little bit tricky. It's 19mm thick tongue and groove redwood weatherboard, just as it is on all the other buildings, tannalised, so it's pressure treated. And then there's a 22mm cavity, and then there's a breather membrane, and then there's a 9mm OSB board sheeting, which is what you can see all around the OSB board. And then there's a 19.5 by 45 pressure treated frame that comes as standard. That framing size changes depending on the size of the building, but a minimum of 95 by 45. And now we have buildings that are completely watertight. So the water will still penetrate through the external boards, but it has a cavity so it can escape, all the moisture can escape, and it's not going to penetrate any further through to the inside of the building. So whatever you store in here will be nice and dry, you don't need to worry about anything, and it's just a much better construction. It's actually what we use for the wall makeup of the cabins before they get the insulation and the lining on afterwards. It's a tried and tested, structurally sound, fantastic makeup for a building to keep all the Scottish elements out of the inside and keep all your stuff nice and protected. So hopefully that explains why we've had to upgrade, and it obviously costs more, and what you can expect if you wanted one of ours. It's going to do the job right.